So my name is Shan Massucco, and I'm the CEO and founder of Shan, So Healthy and Natural. I'm honored to be here. Actually, I'm honored to be anywhere. At 32 years of age, I suffered a pulmonary embolism while I was driving my kids in my car. Thankfully, we all survived. And I discovered that I suffered this because of chemicals that were found in the skincare products that I was using. So after recovering, I spent 2 years developing the skincare line. I have a proprietary formula. I have my trademark on my name. And after developing the formula, I marketed this for 3 years and found that it was marketing to the wrong segment of the population. I was too far ahead of the game. People weren't aware that they didn't care that there weren't any of these chemicals in the product line. Now, if you ask anybody, women have become more shrewd, and they are going to look at the ingredients on the product line. So I spent the last year revamping, rebranding, reformulating, bringing my manufacturing to the East Coast, and lowering all of my cost of goods. So presently the products the cost of goods run between 80 cents and $1.35. There's one product that's around $2, and they sell anywhere from $35 to $150. I was marketing to the professional, the spas. I launched during the economy fallout in a luxury market and with a luxury product, which obviously didn't work because half the places that I launched in went under. So I recouped all of that and was able to sell off most of the inventory. And now I produce new inventory, and I'm selling to the wellness industry, which I'll give you an example. I have several doctors, specifically acupuncturists, who are now recommending my product to their patients. So it's being prescribed almost. So I have launched in that industry. It's a very small part of the industry, but it's a multi-million-dollar industry, the cosmetic industry. And this is an untouched part of the market. So the professional is now selling these to their patients because these people have suffered life-threatening illnesses like me, and they cannot afford to have any of these chemicals in their products. So my sales to date are between $3,000 and $5,000 a month, and I'm not doing any PR or marketing at this moment. I'm asking for $150,000 for inventory and for additional marketing. And my background is in the cosmetic industry. I am a makeup artist and a hairdresser for the past 25 years. I have a CFO, I have a COO, and my COO is been in the cosmetic industry for over 40 years and is a perfumer and on several boards in the cosmetic industry, and has also been instrumental in helping me with my formulations. They do not have to be approved by the FDA, but I am approved by EWG, which is the Environmental Working Group, which is a grassroots effort to clean up the cosmetic industry. I have become their poster child because I am a walking example of what can happen to you if these things get into your system, and they do get into your system if you put anything on your skin. So I've also spoken in front of Congress and helped pass through the Safe Cosmetic Act of 2010. And I'm also in their report that they have published and released. I'm one of the companies that has proven that this can be done, and is now prompting Johnson & Johnson and all of these big name companies to go out and revamp their skincare lines. So I am being looked at by two major people, which I'm not going to mention today, and I have two major TV shows. One of them is not well known, but is launching. It's a health show. It's called No More TV, KNOW, and it's a health educational show, which they're going to be spotlighting me on. And then I also have an offer, which I have not accepted, to go on Dr. Oz, because I don't have inventory to go do something like that. So I know there's a need, and I know that I've been selling, and I have 3 years of a P&L that I can provide, and that's it.
Good job.
For off the cuff, yeah. Having all my stuff ready.
Very good.
What's in it for the physicians that are recommending?
Well, I have one, and it's not just physicians. I failed to also mention that I also speak at a lot of area hospitals. And one of the biggest markets for me, which we're working through right now, are survivors of cancer, breast cancer specifically. I have a large population of our consumers that buy my product that normally would buy all of the high-end luxury items on the market, but then they got breast cancer, and now they don't want to use that after having that experience. They really understand that they want to remain healthy and not get cancer. And one of those things is doctors are telling them you can't put these creams on, and then they're going out and looking, and there's nobody out there that has done what I've done, because nobody really cares, because no one really cares about that, because they don't think it really happens. So because it happened to me, I went and did it, because that's my motivation. So now I have all of these people contact me, please, can I have your product? I don't want to use anything else. So that's another part of the market. But talking about the doctor, what's in it for them, I have a doctor who, anybody that wants to get pregnant, that has not been able to get pregnant and has gone through IVF or any of these types of things, their last resort is this particular doctor, and she specializes in infertility, and what she does is she's an acupuncturist, and she also does Chinese herbs. And she has a 95% success rate in getting these women pregnant after they have gone through all of this and spent all of this money. And I'm part of her protocol, because what she does first is take them off all of the skin care, hair care, and body care that they've been using. Because what it does is it interferes with your hormones. And it's proven. Now even EWG has proven that there's hormone disruption, these things cause cancer, even death. I escaped that, I'm very lucky, but they did find 67 chemicals that came directly from my skincare, and I'm a hairdresser, so they tested hair color and they tested sprays, gels, and none of it came from that. It only came from the items that were actually laying on my skin. So it's a...
I assume there's clinical research behind a lot of the things you're saying.
Yeah, there is. But the FDA does not control the cosmetic industry. Right. So basically you can put whatever you want in your product, and you don't have to, you have no oversight. So now this new EWG is becoming a prominent figure, because now people are now bringing their items there for them to test it voluntarily, so that they can have that seal of approval on their product, which I have. I'm the only person in the United States today, legally, that's allowed to say that my product is completely toxin-free. But I also have the highest amount of actives that you can have over the counter, so my products are not a watered-down green product, they actually work. So that's what that's one of the mistakes that I know I did make. My messaging and my marketing was all about the toxin-free, pure ingredients, and unfortunately nobody cares about that until they're sick. But now more and more people are caring with the new messaging. It's pure ingredients. Yes, it's pure organic beauty, because they have to sell the beauty part of it, and it has to work. The products have to work or no one's going to want it. So your skin is going to be smooth. It does smooth out the wrinkles. It does do all of these things, but it doesn't have all the junk in it. So that's the new messaging and the new marketing that I need money for. I've repackaged and rebranded. Also, I did a focus group. Eiffel I was one of Jill's students in Eiffel, and Jill Johnson, and she did a focus group with me, and one of the major things that came out of it is that they didn't like the look of the product. They liked my story, they didn't like the look of the product, they would not pick that product up off of a shelf. But then they sat down and we did actual facials with my product, And every person, 30 people in the room, bought 2 sets of the product. So I know the product is good and I know that they liked it, but I just know that women need to feel, it needs to have the correct messaging. So that's what I have corrected.
By the way, I thought you did great, so I think you
you.
did very well. I think that the narrative, it can be very powerful, and again, I would work on it a little bit. Like, kind of start with I was your normal, woman just like you, and hold on a second. So I was a normal woman just like you, and then this event happened to me, the pulmonary embolism, which I don't really know what that means. Like, were you in the hospital for a week? Were you, like
Actually,
you talked about driving.
I toned it down because of what you said about the person who tried to die, but I had a pulmonary embolism basically that dislodged, and I had a heart attack and a stroke.
Okay, so but what I'm getting at is, so I think you want to kind of at least, I just didn't know what that was. So I was like, does that mean you swerved off the road, or did it mean like you had a bad gas that day? So the seriousness of it. And then what you want to come to is
recovery. So I have to,
that's it. And then you say, look, and then we came to the realization, my doctor said, oh, it's the cosmetics you're using. And again, just like you, talking to the audience, I thought it was just me. And then I looked and I found out there are millions of women who have trouble with the, stuff that they're using, the cosmetics that they're using, et cetera, and I researched and there wasn't any. I found out that the cosmetic industry is a free-for-all where people put, like, you can use a little fear factor there.
Right.
Keep that off film.
I try not to do too much of that because women...
I understand, but if your point is to really highlight the fact that your product is different, and I think, the stuff you said at the end, you should have started at the end was one of my notes. You said later, almost when you were done, I'm the only product that can actually claim toxin-free. I started with that. Start with the story. This happened. You found out it wasn't unique to you. This happens to a lot of other women, and a lot, use numbers whenever possible. I went and developed this because I have a background, and you can tie in your background right there. And then I created this toxin-free product, which is now, all the rage. I wouldn't, you talked a little bit about some of the missteps that you've made along the way.
Right.
Don't mention those at all in your 5 minutes. Let's like due diligence and over a cup of coffee later. You mentioned your costs, which are fantastic, and your sales, but I don't know. I'm a guy, so I have no idea where that fits in. Like, I don't know if your product is comparable to other products. It's got a 5% premium, a 10% premium. I don't know.
It's not mass. It's luxury.
Yeah.
It's a luxury product.
So what that mean?
It's just part of the market. It's a high end.
Oh, but it's comparable to other luxury items.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually priced
say
very well for the other luxury.
That's the thing to say.
I also, I did due diligence on my cost of goods and my pricing, and those are key things that had to be worked through, and that was worked through, and now it's coming along where people are. And then it's right in the area that it needs to be, the pricing.
My final 2 thoughts. So you said cosmetic is a multi-million-dollar?
Multi-billion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Multi-billion.
I thought you said million.
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. And then near the end, you started talking about how the big companies are now starting to do what you're doing.
Right. Johnson & Johnson was just in the news.
I don't know if I would leave that aside for now because
well,
you're basically
not now.
saying.
I mean, they're actually looking to buy. My point really was they're looking to buy small companies like me that have already done it.
So, but say that as opposed to them looking to do
it.
Say I've got some fantastic exits as larger companies are becoming interested. But if you say larger companies are doing this, then I'm like, well.
And they're going to blow you out of the water.
Right. That's always a fear of every investor, but that's a fear we get. But it's just how you position it, right? You're better off saying large companies have expressed interest in small companies like mine as a purchase. As an acquisition, versus large companies are doing the same thing now.
That's not what I meant.
It's the same thing, but one side's a lot more threatening.
Okay.
That's right. So your formulas are just trade secret. You said it
there's in the cosmetic industry, you do not patent your formulas.
No, trade secret is
right. So there's proprietary. I have a proprietary
trade secret.
preservative and system in the products.
Okay. I don't know if I have more to add.
Questions?
Yeah.
I should have also mentioned that I've invested $500,000 of my own money
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
into this.
That's
venture.
Does this,
Maybe you should.
will this product expire? Does it have an expiration?
It does have an expiration. Unopened, it's 2 years. Opened, it's a year.
Okay. Now, the 150 you're looking for, I know you said primarily marketing it in. Do you know a breakdown of that? Like,
I don't have that with me
Yeah, I
today,
know.
but I do have that. I do have the breakdown.
Okay.
Sounds small.
Small.
Sounds like it's not enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's a number I threw out sort of for a lower rollout. But if there's a higher rollout, then the numbers are different, obviously.
and how long, like, what's a production cycle? How long does it take?
It takes 2 weeks from
Okay,
order.
so pretty quickly, so
Pretty quick
you don't
turnaround.
have to have a lot on hand. You can.
No, and I prefer not to, because I want,
Sure.
another thing that I'm selling is that it is being sort of custom made for you, the formulations, because they are so organic and free of the preservatives.
Right. No, I mean, I guess a fear I had from hearing you talk is I know you had to get rid of some product in the past, or you kind of, for lack of a better term, took a beating on some of that stuff. So the concern would be, are you, you know, or how are you going to move this current product if it does have a fairly short expiration date?
Right. Which is how I've worked out the manufacturing and the shipping of the product, according to the orders that I get in, because I have that on a cycle right now with the people that I'm selling to now.
Okay.
I sell online and out of a few outlets right now.
Actually, I do have a couple things just that might have general applicability. I don't know if I completely agree with Christian that you don't tell some of your lessons learned, because it shows that you're more developed and further along.
Right. I have scar tissue, and
Yeah.
I've worked through those things, and I've come out the other end.
You know, there's a way to make it sound very positive, but for example, that you've really checked your labeling, this labeling didn't work, you've really fixed that, you now have the
Price
manufacturing
points.
cycle all worked out because it's supposed to be so custom made and it's so organic and there's not as many preservatives. I mean, some of those messages make
And
you
then
sound
also
like
the
you've
cost
gotten
of
your act
goods. Right,
together
Right.
more thoroughly. So I think there is a way to use the mistakes in your presentation
As a
to show
positive.
them as a positive.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah. See, he always agrees with me. The other thing is just as a general matter on the personal stories, I do think it's good to start out with a personal story and why this is so important and why you're going to stick with this till, you know, death rolls over or whatever the expression is. But I've also seen presentations where the personal story takes over the presentation,
Right.
where the personal story becomes over half the presentation. I mean, you got to do the personal story and then
And
move on to the business.
numbers. Right.
Exactly. So don't.
I watch the Shark Tank. So.
Yeah. So don't overdo the personal story. You know, show that's your passion and then move on. So I guess that's the main thing.
Well, I've used Shan's product and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Where's the free sample?
I know.
I know. If I knew I was coming here today, I really would have been much more polished and prepared. I would have my products. I would have handed it out to everybody. I just graduated from the EPI program here, and we had to do our growth plan presentations, and then they whittled us down to 2 people, and we had 5 minutes. They didn't tell us we were going to do this. We had 5 minutes to get out there and tell them what we wanted to tell them. So I have been through this before, but I really wasn't prepared for it today. But I hope, that was good feedback.
And you have a whole line extension, including
Right, I have I have a mommy baby.
breastfeeding,
Right.
nipple cream, little.
Right, I'm doing partnerships with people. too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have a way to scale it up. I have a men's line that I just developed that I'm testing. I have a mommy baby line that St. Barnabas is interested in replacing Johnson & Johnson. There's things on the pipeline coming up that are the doctors are asking me for custom blending, things that they are only allowed to put into products because of their medical degree. No one else is allowed to do that. So we have actives that they're allowed to put into base creams for their patients. That's another outlet. It's endless, but I have to start small.
That's great. Thank you.